Can everyone see that? Okay lang po ba? So,
Yeah.
ayan, we are live. We are ready to go. Good evening. Magandang gabi po sa lahat. Kami po ang inyong mag-uulat ngayong gabi mula sa People's Budget Coalition. Um, would like to say hi. The team is here with us. There's AJ, Yoon, Haya, Ines. Shortly, Abby will join us. And Ken is with us in spirit, for sure. You wanna say hi one at a time, guys? Ipasa ko kay Haya. Let's
Hello
go.
po! Quick lang po for everyone para po lahat tayo makapagpakilala. Haya po from People's Budget Coalition. So, pangalan lang and your affiliation. Tag ko si Justin.
Hello, I'm Justin from GoodGov PH. So I volunteer the next one. Okay. How about Clar?
Hindi daw siya makakapag-mute. So, si Ate Claire po ay from
Yeah.
TVED.
Yes,
Nag-volunteer.
hi Ate Clar.
Correct. Hi, Ate Claire! Tag ko po next si Manolo.
Ayan na, maririnig na natin ang boses ni Manolo.
Or my spokesperson.
Joke lang.
Justin, okay lang ba to introduce Manolo?
Yeah, si Manolo is also from GoodGov PH. You can call him Manolo.
Tag next again,
Yes,
Justin.
ako din. Si Sir Lance po, Gubat.
Hello, am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, hello
Yes po.
everyone. Hello
Hello.
everyone. I'm Lance Kubat from UP Economics Towards Consciousness, kasama po sa People's Budget Coalition po. Nice to meet you all.
Perfect. Tag po next, sir.
Hmm?
Sino pong next yung gusto magpakilala?
I think si Eunice.
Hello po, Eunice from People's Budget Coalition, former section, ex-section, now a technical analyst or something like that. Um, tag ko po si, sino pa ba? Si Tim.
Hello. Gandang gabi, Timothy Solomon. Ah, for today, I'm representing Gocos of Development NGO Networks. Hello po. Pero part din ako ng si Inez naman po.
Yeah, on the move si Tim, so yung connection medyo choppy. But we heard that. Thank you, Tim.
I'm sorry.
Ines?
I don't think Ines can
Ines?
unmute.
Okay, spokesperson. Sino si spokesperson kay Ines?
Ines po, also from People's Budget Coalition. At in behalf of Ines, I'm tagging Kuya AJ.
Ayan, hello, magandang gabi po. Pasensya na lahat tayo ay nagka-internet problem. So, let's just bear with each other. So, ako po si AJ Montesa from the People's Budget Coalition. Fun fact, ako din ay formerly member ng UP ETC nung college days ko. So, hello, Lance from ETC. And siguro last, Ate Janai, go ahead.
Yes. At fun fact po talaga sa amin yun kasi ngayon lang din po nasabihan. Congratulations, UPETC. Hello po, I am Janai, Sector Support Officer, People's Budget Coalition. Magandang gabi po sa lahat ng nandito sa Zoom, tapos lahat din na nanonood sa atin sa Facebook Live. I'm sure dadami pa yung mga kasamahan natin ngayong gabi. At dahil napaka-importante naman ng ating pag-uusapan, no? Ngayong gabi po, magbibigay kami ng NEP briefing na specific sa education and health sector concerns ng mga miyembro ng PBC. Tapos sa input na po, medyo marami-raming input po, no? But ang point ay, mayroon kaming maibibigay na technical analysis on the macro side of things. But at the same time, gusto din po namin mag-provide ng capacity building for CSOs to be more comfortable doing their own specific technical analysis of the NEP. Kaya yung second part po ay magbibigay po si AJ ng isang live coaching session on how to navigate the NEP and just knowing your way around and do like identifying specific budget line items, no? Kung natatandaan niyo din yung mga nandun sa group chat, kami po yung nangungulit na may worksheet na kumbaga nagsisilbing guide para ma-identify yung budget line items. Kaya sa pangatlong bahagi ng gagawin natin ngayong gabi, pupunuin natin, we'll populate the worksheet together. So, sabay-sabay tayong magda-delve into that and try to identify budget line items together. Given what we learned from the NEP briefing, and what we learned from the live coaching session, the walkthrough, kumbaga. So, okay po ba yun? So, ayan, tatlong bahagi. 15 minutes, magiging strict po tayo. I-mute ko po yung nagsasalita kapag, 15th minute mark. The sector briefing, 15 minutes. The live NEP coaching session, 15 minutes. And then after that, we'll cut the Zoom live feed. So we'll focus more on working with who we have this evening po, no? And fill out the worksheets. Ayun. Okay na po ba? Shall we begin? Everyone's good? Okay. So, our briefing will have 3 parts, yung mga trends and changes po, targets and champions, and then CSO alignment. So ito yung mga tanong, no, o yung mga bahagi na sa part 1. Una, yung mga pagbabago sa NEP nitong nakaraang taon, mga bagong pondo o malalaking alokasyon ng mga na-identify, mga posibleng mabawasan, mailipat o malagyan ng insertions. Kumbaga ito yung mga kailangan nating bantayan o pwede pa rin natin i-quote sa interpellation questions na i-identify natin sa worksheet. Tapos, higit sa lahat, yung mga hindi tugma sa pangangailangan ng mga mamamayan o hindi rin tugma sa mga nakapaloob sa konstitusyon. No? Part 1 pa lang ang ang meaty na. Pero ayun po, marami-rami siyang i-cover pero mahalaga po kasi siya bilang magkaroon din tayo ng konteksto na kung paano natin naatakihin yung mga specific budget line items. So, I'll turn it over to AJ.
Ayan, so hello, good evening po. Pagtutulungan po namin kami tatlo ni Janai at ni Eunice yung briefing. So very quick lang naman po ito. We wanted to present yung high level na analysis po natin sa budget, no? So yung NEP na tinatawag o yung National Expenditure Program, it's just basically the same as just talking about the budget. But yung different budget documents, mamaya i-discuss natin, no? So yung NEP is just the, kumbaga, first draft ito. So EDUC yung focus natin tonight, no? So kapag nagsusulat ka ng thesis, yung first draft mo, hindi pa yun yung final, no? May revisions pa yan. So that's the NEP, no? So important yung pag-analisa ng NEP kasi ito yung starting point natin, no? So we gave a briefing of the overall NEP several weeks back. So pwede natin balikan po iyon. But for now, we're focusing on education, no? So yung education budget is one of the most important parts, no? Ito yung data natin on yung past few budgets comparing the NEP and AGAA. Makikita natin kung ano ba yung mga sektor na ina-allocate ng government. So nandiyan of course yung health, nandiyan yung economic affairs, for example mga agriculture, agrarian reform, nandiyan yung defense, so yung budget ng military natin, nandiyan yung public order and safety, so nandiyan yung police. General public services is actually one of the biggest portions of the budget. Doon pumapasok yung debt servicing, no? So we're focused on education tonight, yung kulay pink, pink na fuchsia na bar dyan. Based on yung data natin for the NEP, no, around 16% po ng total obligations o yung total budget ng 2026 ay para sa education, no. So hindi siya yung pinakamalaking part kasi nga yung general services nandiyan din yung debt servicing, no. Sige, next slide tayo. And kung breakdown natin, kung hinimay natin yung budget for education, no, yung 16% na yun, 2/3 doon, depending on how you count, no, actually it could go up to 75% or 70%. Most or bulk of that budget really goes to primary and secondary education and pre-primary education, no? So yung red and gold part ng bar chart natin, that's the pre-primary, primary, and secondary education. So yung mga elementary, high school, yung operation nun, yung mga subsidies doon, yun yung pinakamalaking porsyento ng education budget. So actually tonight, yun yung pinakabibigyan natin ng focus, no? Paumanhin na po for those who are interested in higher education, we can have a separate discussion on that, we focused on primary education po tonight. Next slide, please. And I think naibabalita ito, no? I think the focus of the budget so far was controversial yung last budget kasi pinupunto nga na initially yung DPWH budget ay mas malaki sa DepEd budget, pero constitutionally nasa batas, sa Constitution ng Pilipinas na education should have the highest priority, no? So issue iyon. That's why this year parang to remedy that, no? Laging sinasabi ng DepEd, ng DBM na actually this year pinakamalaking budget ang DepEd, mas malaki siya sa DPWH. And record high siya na 928 billion, no? And yung total na education sector budget ang sinasabi ng DBM ay 1.2 trillion na siya, no? Ang sinasabi po nila ay because na 1.2 trillion siya, naabot na natin yung 4% na target natin na global benchmark from UNESCO, no? Totoo po ba 'yon? So let's go next slide. Actually hindi po totoo 'yon. So hindi pa tayo maabot ng 4%, no? Dahil yung computation ng DBM na iyon, hindi siya nagma-match dun sa isang document na yung BESF, na ang calculation ay 1.087 trillion lang ang naka-allocate for education. It's even accounting for DepEd, for SUCS, yung state universities and colleges, yung CHED, and even yung mga halimbawa yung mga DILG, yung mga National Police College, no? So even counting for all of that, 1.087 trillion siya. Siguro ang kinakount kasi nila ay may transfers na napupunta sa mga local government units at gagastos din sila sa edukasyon, no? But that's not a guarantee. So what we're really looking at is yung national budget na allocated for education, hindi pa natin na aabot yung 4%. No? Next, please press next. So what they, no sorry, yan. What they do point out though is lumaki yung budget natin. No? So yan yung pinupunto nila na compared to 2025, lumaki po talaga ang 2026 na National Expenditure Program, which is true. Totoo po iyon, no? But what we also want to point out is this is the first year in the trend na in terms of a percentage of GDP, since 2021, bumababa po, no? And even since 2017, if you compare it ng 2017, muntik na natin maabot yung 4% ng GDP, pero hindi natin siya naabot. So itong trend na ito, we're not sure if this is just a one-time thing dahil naging sensitive yung administration to the criticism or kung isi-sustain po talaga nila ito. Next slide. And we also want to point out na yes, maybe we might hit the 4% depending on realignments, but malayong-malayo pa po tayo sa 6%, no? So siguro ang iniisip ko diyan ay yung 4% parang pasang-awa ka lamang. Pero yung 6%, yun talaga yung we're striving to hit the bar, no? So far, we have not yet hit that 6%. Ang calculation po natin, 600 to 700 billion pa ang kailangan na idagdag sa education sector kung gusto natin maabot talaga yung 6% of GDP. Next slide, please. So, kung himayin po natin yung budget ng DepEd po, no? So, yung bawat agency, may mga programs po sila na ina-identify, no? And then yung within those programs, nandun po yung mga sub-program na tinatawag at nandun yung mga line items, no? So, dito, it's hard kasi to analyze the budget if you don't, if you just look at the agency level or the department level. Kailangan natin tingnan talaga ano ba yung mga programa na pinagagastusan nila, no? So, the biggest chunk of the DepEd's budget really goes to the support to schools and learners program. Mamaya alamin natin kung ano yung mga items under that. The second largest, but malayong-malayo siya, is yung basic education inputs program. And then again, malayo na yung next na general administration and support. Yun yung mga pagbabayad ng mga salaries ng mga administrative personnel and yung mga administrative staff. And then education policy and development programs, so development ng curriculums, etc. And then you have inclusive education program, nandiyan yung mga special needs, nandiyan yung IP education, and then support to operations, and then finally yung education human resource development program. So himayin natin, no? Let's start with the biggest program of DepEd, yung support to schools and learners program. Ang pinakamalaki dyan talaga ay yung operation ng mga schools natin. So nandiyan po yung operation of elementary schools, which takes the largest chunk. So ma-observe po natin na usually ang NEP, kung ano yung pinapropose, yung light orange na gray na bar, and then yung blue na bar is yung NEP versus the GAA in 2025, yung last year. So ang observation po natin ay usually kung ano yung propose, yun na talaga yun. And then yung pink na bar, yung peach na bar is yung NEP for 2026. No? So there's an expectation na at the very least, ito ito na siya, pwede pa siyang tumaas, no? But usually, itong part ng budget na ito, hindi siya nababawasan, no? So, ito yung operation ng schools, ng elementary schools, junior high school, senior high school. Nandyan yung government subsidy for the high school voucher program. Nandyan yung hardship pay for the teachers. And then, nandyan din yung other subsidies. And then, yung school-based feeding program ay dito din nakapaloob. And then, other vouchers, no? Next slide. Yung second largest program ay yung Basic Education Inputs Program. So I think ito yung interesting na tingnan, no? So nandito for example yung tina-target ng DepEd na i-meet yung pag-fill ng mga bagong teaching positions, so new school personnel positions. What you'll notice is na-cut siya from the GAA noong 2025, no? From the NEP to the GAA, binawasan siya. For 2026 though, mataas siya, no? So, kailangan natin bantayan kung ikakat ulit siya compared to the NEP. Ganun din yung basic education facilities, no? From the NEP to the GAA, nabawasan siya. And then, yung others, no? Yung textbooks, for example, na-maintain yung NEP to the GAA, but na-cut siya sa NEP, no? So, bantayan po natin ito. So, we're just flashing it. Limited yung time, no? So, we won't go through everything one by one na lang. So, let's go to the next slide. So ito yung Education Policy Development Program. As I mentioned, nandito yung pag-develop ng mga curriculum, yung ibang research, yung national assessment systems natin, and then early language literacy and campus journalism also. Next slide. Inclusive education also, naging controversial din ito because of some observed cuts in the special needs education and yung indigenous people's education as well. Next slide. And then yung Human Resource Development Program, we see a big increase dito sa HR development for personnel in schools and learning centers, no? Next slide. So yun, maybe you want to go through these slides.
Sure, thanks, AJ. So with this slide, I think we wanted to ask the main question, which is what are the biggest cuts and increases in the DepEd budget. So we're zeroing in on these key programs. And I think the story tells us that there's a huge prioritization in increasing classrooms and DepEd's digitalization goals. So the highest we see here at 577% increase is their computerization program. So this is the procurement of more laptops for teachers and other materials. Running second is basic education facilities, and then third is personal services. If you notice, the lowest or the largest decrease is funding in indigenous people's education, followed by special needs education, which is actually quite alarming because there has been a noted increase enrollment in special needs education in the past year. So this is the percent change in allocation comparing the 2025 GAA versus the president's budget for 2026. If we go to the next slide, let's focus on the computerization program. So I think this is something to flag. Despite its huge, its top increase, actually in 2023, it was flagged by COA that DepEd bought 0 ICT packages as of end of 2023. So they weren't actually able to spend the allocated budget for their computerization program. The procurement wasn't able to push through. So I think that's something to question why it sees the greatest increase when performance didn't actually show. Perhaps it's questionable if it's deserving or not. And then going to the next slide, I think focusing also on basic education facilities, maybe also AJ can chime in to help as well. I think we wanted to note, we know that there's the huge problem around on classroom congestion. And I think we just wanted to flag that across 2022 to 2026, we see there's rightly so naman increasing allocation for infrastructure, for more classrooms. But as we know, performance-wise, we still need 160,000 classrooms. And in between 2022 to 2024, only 797 classrooms have been built. So construction is painfully slow, and I think that's something to question also with this current budget. right now to really clarify the strategies at the moment on classroom pricings. I think that's something also to pay attention to in the hearings between DPWH and DepEd. DPWH has their own pricing for classrooms, I think at 3.5 million per classroom. And then DepEd has their own pricing, which is at 2.5 million per classroom. And so I think that's something that we need to pay attention to. And then I think the last thing also for my part, there also is a huge increase in unused appropriation from DepEd. So this huge unused appropriation represents actually 7.5% of DepEd's total budget in 2024. So another performance of expenditure that we want to flag. Next slide. Okay, I'll hand this over to AJ for
Ayan.
this portion.
Sige, thanks, Eunice. So, maganda yung mga points ni Eunice on the classrooms, no? I think matagal nang nasasabi yung issue on the school building. So, yung basic education facilities na line item, nandun nakapaloob yung school building program, and na-point out nga na hindi na-hit yung targets natin, yung 160,797 lang, no? One of the issues that you can look at for the budget ay hindi lang yung pag-analyze kasi ng NEP or ng GAA. Yung budget accountability is also an important discussion. Kaya natin nabibring up yung unobligated allotments. Magkano ba yung pera na binigay dapat sa kanila or inallow na gastusin nila pero hindi naman nila nagastos, no? So, important na usapin din yun sa discussion natin, no? So, we also wanted to show you the raw data because the graphs are a good way to get an intuitive sense of what the programs look like. But if you also wanted to see how big the numbers are, saan ba may mga cuts, saan ba may mga increase, no? So, general administration and support to operations, again, mostly mga admin functions ito ng agency. We can go to the next slide. Yung first program ng DepEd is yung Education Policy and Development Program. Generally, what we observe, no, is across the board, yung 2026 NEP is an increase in the 2025 GAA. Some of them larger than others, no? Yung largest one, of course, is itong Policy and Research Program. But with the exception of yung basic education curriculum na mas mababa ang NEP for 2026 compared to the GAA in 2025, no? What we'll also notice is yung GAA ay tumaas compared to the NEP ng 2025, no? So, pinapoint out lang namin ito because in other items, in other line items, nung tinanong kung bakit nagkakaroon ng cuts from the NEP to the GAA, from the GAA, ang pinapoint din ng agency ay pwede nyong ikumpara din kasi sa original na proposed na NEP, no? So, mamaya makikita natin, may iba na mababa yung NEP na tumaas sa GAA and then binalik siya to the level of the NEP previously. Okay, so we'll see that in the next few slides. Next slide. Again, ito yung second largest na yung Basic Education Inputs Program. Generally the same yung NEP to the GAA. What we notice is may big cut from the computerization program ng NEP to the GAA. I think ng 2025 budget deliberations na point out na yung issues sa obligations, sa issues ng computerization program, yung overpriced computers, no? So I think Congress decided to cut there. And then in 2026, mukhang ibabalik nila yung malaking budget for this computerization program. So it remains to be seen kung na-resolve na yung issues doon sa computerization. We also see some cuts in the learning tools and equipment and textbooks na line item also. Next slide. Itong inclusive education program, so ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. If you'll notice yung special needs education program, again, na-interpolate ito sa DepEd hearing na bakit bumaba from 1 billion to 850 million. Ang na-point out ay actually yung pinopose lang naman ng DepEd ay 844 million. So yung 850 million ay mas malapit doon sa original proposal po nila, no? So ganun din sa Indigenous Peoples Education Program, yung 75 million, yes, it's a cut from the 154 million na GAA nila ng 2025, but yung context nun ay dinoble nila yung budget for this compared to the NEP, no? So yun, important context yun if we're going to contextualize itong budget cuts na tinatawag o kaya yung increases from the GAA. Next slide, please. And then ito yung pinakamalaking part ng budget, yung support to schools and learners program. Again, typically kung ano yung nasa NEP dito, very crucial kasi itong programs na ito talaga yung operation ng mga paaralan. So usually they retain kung ano yung nasa NEP. Notable ay yung voucher program. So for example, yung joint delivery voucher for senior high school TechVoc, tumaas siya, dumoble po siya, no? Across the board, almost lahat tumataas naman. Ayun po. And the next slide. Dito naman po sa Education Human Resource Development Program. So again, important ito if we're going to shore up yung personnel po natin, we have to do enough training, no? So yung pinakamalaki po dito is yung Human Resource Development for personnel in schools and learning centers. So tumaas din po siya by 700 million pesos in the NEP. Okay, let's go to the next part. So yun yung overview ng budget, no? I think Janai can discuss with us yung flagship programs na na-identify ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa kanyang budget message at sa kanyang SONA.
So yun na, that brings us to our second part, yung targets and then champions. Pag-uusapan din natin alin po yung mga line items na iniisip natin na parang magkakaroon naman ng champion o madali nating hanapan ng suporta kahit papano. Tapos sino din yung mga kaalyado natin sa Kongreso na dapat natin i-brief na maaga o kailangan kausap na natin sa ngayon pa lang. Pero ito yung una, mula sa President's Budget Message for 2026. No? So, ang sector budget po ay nakaset sa 224 trillion. So, ang recommended, medyo aligned to sa mga na-forecast na po kanina, no? So, yung mga tumaas for DepEd and SUCs. Again, for deeper briefing on higher education, pwede pa po namin siyang, tanungin niyo lang po kami. By request na lang po siya. We're zeroing in on basic education for now. So ito po yung mga aspects doon na pinaka-pina-highlight. There are 7. Empowering educators. Meron naman, hindi natin iisa-isahin, pero makikita merong teaching allowance na may increase na 3.2%. HR development, napaka-importante. Meron namang 2.9 billion na allocation. Kasama na yung in-service training, even projects na for my Mindanao focus, no? Yan din yung mga iba pang fineflex na importante i-highlight. So meron, but ito yung pinakamalaking chunk actually to empower educators. And then again, babalik at babalik tayo dun sa computerization targets on learning materials. E-learning carts, malaking highlight yung smart TV packages, laptops for teachers, and then laptops for non-teaching personnel. And then internet connectivity for 3,285 schools. But it remains to be seen how the implementation is gonna look like, how exactly they intend to do that. Kasi nga naman, aanhin natin lahat ng mga gadgets na to kung walang kuryente yung mga bata. Tapos yung mga far-flung areas, hindi rin naman like days on end, wala silang kuryente. No? So in terms of implementation, dun po talaga tayo kailangan mas maging mapagmatsyag. Learner nutrition and well-being, maliit lang siya na part compared to the other ones, pero alam naman na po natin yung mga kinakaharap natin problems and challenges in terms of malnutrition and stunting. So, ayan lang po yung allocation niya, medyo a bit of a footnote. Inclusivity, ayan, 3 billion last mile schools program para na rin maabot no, yung mga nasa peripheries. Pero yun na nga, kahit merong flexible learning options, it remains to be seen how that will be kasi given the current gaps in implementation na rin. Upskilling and reskilling, very important. And of course, educational assistance. Yan yung nakita natin na ito yung second most bulky part. One of the highlights for this one would be, okay, for 2026, marami tayong gustong makamit. It's very sparkly, very optimistic. Pero as we all know, it also looks very vulnerable. Right? Lahat na to i-resource, marami pagkukunan in terms of supply. So, kung sino na rin kukontraktahin natin para magbigay ng mga maraming gadgets, sana mas pulido as mas justified yung mga how we proceed from here. I'll turn this over to Yoon.
Thanks, Janai. So this is something we wanted to bring up also after our conversation with our friends at PBED, no. as it was mentioned, there's this new allocation to the Teachers Education Council. So as you can see, there's 163 million set aside for that. But if you pay attention to the performance indicator portion of it, in the NEP, the indicator for scholarships is at 0 at the moment. So that's something that we wanted to point out as well, when doing any kind of budget analysis. The line items are important, but equally important as well is how they're measuring performance of these specific programs. So that's something to bring up and consider as well. Yes, thank you to our friends at PBED for bringing this up. Pero baka naman may explanation that maybe friends in the space can infer with us for this. So ayun, open discussion lang naman. So moving on to the next slide, I think this is particularly relevant to our friends from UP ETC. So this is from the EDCOM Year 2 report. If we look at the allocation on higher education development, it's a roller coaster ride since 2016. So as we see in the headline, volatility in higher education budget, it creates a lot of unpredictability for student programs. And as you can see, it can weaken continuity and quality. And baka this would be a good starting point for our conversation also later on how to bring this up in the budget deliberations, and also why it's so subject to the volatility is something I think we would be interesting to talk about as a group later. Okay, passing this back to Janai.
Okay, I'll take it na lang, AJ.
Ay.
We're
Ay,
running
AJ.
kay AJ. But I'll just flag that we're running out of time. So in 2 sentences or less. I'm kidding. Go, AJ. Go.
Sige, sa mga sectors po natin or sa mga orgs natin, I think important na if we're going to identify mga line items that we want to change, we really do have to identify kung sino yung mga champions natin. Of course, important na yung secretary ng agency, so si Secretary Angara ang secretary ng DepEd, and then kung sino yung vice chair na naka-assign for the committee, no? So the way that they do it is yung appropriations committee is the one assigned to tackle the budget in the House, and then the finance committee in the Senate. And then syempre may chair po yun, and then they assign vice chairs to each department. So kumbaga group work nila, may head per department, no? So for example, in the House, ang in charge sa DepEd budget ay si Representative Maria Carmen Zamora. So siya yung nag-preside over the budget hearing ng DepEd. During the hearing, sila yung magbubusisi ng budget, pero by the time na dumating na sa plenary, sila yung magsusponsor naman ng agency, no? So they have to do the work of making sure that the budget is good so that they can defend it later on. So important na ma-engage natin sila, not necessarily because they are the champions per se, not necessarily because they are the best advocates, but because they are really going to be somewhat of a gatekeeper dito sa budget na discussion, no? So important sila, but if we can identify other champions, maganda din yun, no? So for the Senate counterpart, si Senator Sherwin Gatchalian or si Senwin po iyon. Next slide, please. So DepEd is basic education, secondary education. CHED is in charge of higher education, along with the SUCS, no? So hiwalay yung discussion on SUCS, but CHED is the regulatory agency for higher education. So si Dr. Shirley Agrupis ang chairperson ng CHED, no? So kakahiring din lang nila. And then si Representative Albert S. Garcia, yung vice chair. So senior vice chair din siya ng APRO committee. So we have to engage him at some point. And then si Sherwin pa rin, si Senwin ang chair sa CHED. So siya yung mag-head ng discussion dito. And then yung next slide, TESDA naman. So TESDA yung mga tech voc na education programs. So former congressman din ito, si Sec Kiko Benitez. So he knows how to handle the budget process din, no? And then ang TESDA kasi hinahandle din siya ni Chair Mika Swansing. And then sa Senate, it's Senwin. Yes, so kung napapansin nyo sa Senate, naka-assign siya kay Senwin lahat, no? Strategic yun, I think, for him because dati din siyang former chair ng mga education-related committees in the Senate, no? But again, chairs lang ito. They're just spearheading the committees, not necessarily sila yung champion. So we could identify other outspoken champions in the Senate, for example, si Senator Bam na naging champion ng Free Education Act, no? So important na ma-engage yung mga champions like that as well. Next slide. Later, we are going to discuss yun, kung identifying the other legislators, no, sa workshop natin, no. So we won't get into the details right now. Ganun din, parang yung process from the Congress, DBM, and to the approval in the BICAM and the President, later natin i-discuss po yun, no. We also prepared a briefing for the health, since this is the education and health cluster. Pero since yung audience natin ay mostly education, pasadahan natin ng kaunti lang ito. Ang main programs ng DOH po ay yung Facilities Operation Program, katulad ng DepEd, yung pag-operate ng mga frontline services, yun po talaga yung bulk ng budget ng agency. So sa DOH, itong pinakamalaki at tatanggap siya ng mas laking allocation. Nandiyan din yung Local Health System Support Program, Social Health Protection. So dito po nakalodge yung MAIFIP na tinatawag and yung Cancer Assistance Fund sa Social Health Protection Program. And then yung Health Policy and System Strengthening Program. So nandito yung mga surveillance, nandiyan yung mga health promotion, etc. So we can go through each one of them. Yan. So health policy and systems, nandiyan yung disease prevention and control, yung health promotion, human resources for health. So a lot of this is also implementation ng universal healthcare. Nandito siya nakapaloob po. Sa local health systems, nandito yung HFEP. So yung pag-enhance or yung pag-increase ng facilities na at the local level. Yun yung mga pinaka-important na projects dito. And then yung next slide ay yung health facilities operation. Again, ito yung pinakamalaking allocation for DOH. So regional hospitals and yung Metro Manila hospitals, but also yung mga health labs, yung mga drug abuse and rehabilitation centers. Next slide. And then yung health regulatory program. So for example, yung FDA, dito siya nakapaloob. And then next slide, ito, social health protection. So MAIFIP po nandito. What you'll notice is, again, kaya important na tingnan yung konteksto ng NEP to Dagaa because, nabawasan ang NEP ng 2026. Pero if you'll notice, nung 2025, tumaas yung NEP to Dagaa, no? So, just because bumaba yung NEP sa ngayon, kailangan din bantayan kung totoo ba yan. Yung MAIFIP kasi is pet project yan ng mga legislators. Susceptible po yan for patronage politics, no? So, mababa yung NEP sa ngayon, pero it's very possible na taasan nila yan pagdating ng gaan. So, bantayan po natin iyan. Okay, yan, sige. So, Janai, maybe you can wrap up this part of the program.
Yeah, so just to wrap up the briefing, I'd like to thank our sectors for the one-on-ones they've attended. Maraming salamat po for your input, for your time. It really helped us gauge how to attack the briefings as well as like how to approach the interpellation questions. Summary for education, we were able to talk to E4E and PBED. So ayan po, hindi na namin iisa-isahin, pero we were able to at least identify some of the challenges that we want to address or the gaps. So now, I think it would be helpful, again, as AJ mentioned, dun lang tayo sa macro side of the briefing. We also want to have your help in terms of identifying specifics or yung mga mas nitty-gritty pa ng mga budget line items. Pero ayaw naming takot kayo sa NEP, right? It's a huge document. Gusto sana namin na pag sinabing NEP, okay, hindi tayo matatakot buksan at alam natin kung saan yung pasikot-sikot ng dokumento. I'll turn this over to AJ for the second part of our agenda. And after this live coaching session, dun po matatapos yung live stream natin. And then, once we go to the worksheet, tayo-tayo na lang itong mga nasa Zoom. Ayan po. AJ, kaya po bang 15 minutes? Ito na naman tayo sa 15 minutes.
Naging 50 minutes, sige. So we'll
Naging
just
30.
we'll
Okay,
just
go.
go through this quickly, no. Ang
Yeah.
goal lang naman po natin kasi ang pinakalayunin po natin dito sa People's Budget Coalition ay syempre maengganyo din yung mga different orgs na who might not have necessarily yung technical experience pa, but you have the the lived experience of these sectors, no? So important na we help you, we assist you in doing technical support, but we want to give you an idea of how this can be done para kaya din po natin tutulungan ito, no? So ang important na mga documents na pwede natin tingnan ay these are all related to the budget, no? Yung pinaka-final na budget document is yung GAA. Siyempre, alam po natin yun. General Appropriations Act, it's an act of Congress, no? So, ibig sabihin, para din itong any other law, batas siya. Pinapasa po siya ng Congress, may Republic Act po ito. So, it's an act like a law. It goes through the same processes as any law. So, bago ka magkaroon ng GAA, nandyan yung National Expenditure Program. So, yun yung sinasubmit na DBM, di ba? And then, yun yung basehan nila to file the General Appropriations Bill. So technically, what they're talking about is yung General Appropriations Bill, ganun din nga, parang batas, kailangan ng first reading, second reading, etc. So yung bill, na General Appropriations Bill, yun yung basehan nila ng discussion. And usually yung GAB ay nakabase sa NEP, no? So basically, for all intents and purposes, you can treat them like the same thing, no? Syempre may mga special things like for example sa DPWH, di ba? Pinabalik sa kanila yung DPWH budget and then isasabit nila ulit yun, no? So, na-file na yung GAB, Congress has the power to change what's there, no? So, kung gusto nilang gawing zero yung DPWH, pwede nilang gawin yun. Pwede nilang ibuhos lahat yun sa edukasyon at sa health, no? If they wanted to. But some other documents na very important to look at is yung BESF, yung Budget of Expenditures and Sources of Financing. So, important ito because dito nakapaloob yung macroeconomic assumptions ng government. So, for example, ano ba ang projection ng DBCC kung ano yung growth rate ng Pilipinas, yung inflation, no? Important yun because dun nakabase yung pagpaplano, pagpa-prioritize, pagsa-strategize ng government, ng administration. Nandun din sa BES, for example, yung mga earmarked revenues. So, if interesado po tayo sa mga funding na based on earmarking. Halimbawa, sa health, nandyan yung sin tax law na nakastipulate na a certain percentage ay dapat napupunta sa PhilHealth, dapat napupunta sa tobacco farmers. So, iba-iba, no? So, ganun din sa education, there are certain laws or revenue measures na nandun nakastipulate yung earmarking. So, sa BESF natin makikita ito. So, masisilip natin kung natutupad ba yung mga allocations na ito. And then, yung SAOB o SAOB, yun yung budget accountability. So yung sinabi kanina, yung kinento ni yun na ito yung hindi nagagastos ng DepEd, yung unobligated allotment. So nakikita natin iyon sa SAOB, no? So they have to report quarterly kung ano ba yung amounts na binibigay sa kanila, ano yung amounts na na-obligate nila o kinokontrata na nila. So for example, ibibigay sa'yo 100 billion for school building. So ilan na yung na-contract out mo, no? And then nandyan din yung disbursements. So of the obligations that you incurred, ilan na dun yung na-disburse or na-liquidate mo na. So important din na i-monitor iyon. So if you go to the DBM website, yan yung itsura niya, naka-highlight in pink yung links dun sa documents na ito if gusto natin silipin. Okay, next slide. So ganito lang yung itsura ng BESF. The important things that you would look at. Kanina, di ba, in-analyze natin ano ba yung mga sektor na ina-allocate ng national budget. So dito din siya naka-report, no? Yung classifications of the functions of the government. So magkano yung binibigay sa general public services versus education versus health versus defense, etc. Earmarked revenues. And then they also report climate change expenditure. So if you're interested na tingnan yun, we will have a separate briefing naman on climate in a few days. Sige, next slide. National Expenditure Program, again, ito yung basehan ng General Appropriations Bill. They report the budget per department and then naka-breakdown yun, no? So, meron tinatawag na expense class. So, nandun yung personal services, so yung mga salaries. Nandun yung MOOE o yung maintenance, operating and other expenditures, no? So, yung usual na operations, no? So, doon nakapalab yung mga subsidy, doon yung mga programs, doon yung bulk ng expenditure, yung functions ng agency rather. And then the largest usually is yung capital outlay. Malaking pera ito kasi doon yung infrastructure, yung pagpapatay ng mga building, etc. And then you have departments, but you also have budgetary support to government corporations. Meron ding allocations to LGUs. And then yung NEP, dito din nakalagay yung buong listahan ng DPWH programs and projects down to the very project, no? May amount yun, no? So doon, kung gusto mong silipin yung mga red flags, etc. Nandyan din yung DOH health facilities, yung na-mention ko kanina na Health Facilities Enhancement Program. So if you want to look at that also. Ang wala dito ay yung listahan ng mga schools ng school building program. Nasa GAA siya pero wala pa siya sa NEP, no? So important na topic 'yun. Special funds and yung unprogrammed appropriations, pwede din natin silipin sa NEP, no? Next slide. So ganito yung itsura niya. If you'll notice, the amounts should almost be the same. Kung wala silang binago, no, they should correspond to each other. If you're trying to get the hang of it lang, minsan hindi siya nag-add up because you have to take note of yung mga locally funded projects and yung mga foreign assisted projects. I think ang isang important concept din ay yung konsepto ng new appropriations. So ang nakalagay talaga na headline amount, if you look at the right top of the screen, yung sa GAA, yan yung new appropriations. So bagong pera yan na binubuhos nila, no? So bukod pa yan sa pera nila from the previous year na hindi pa nagagastos, na baka pwede pa nilang gastusin. Pero yung pinaka-important sa budget ay yung new appropriations na binibigay sa agency or sa department. Next slide. Bukod sa mga line items, important din tingnan yung mga special provisions. Okay? So yung special provisions din yung mga halimbawa may mga special law na sinasabi that you have to implement this program. Usually dito nakapaloob to. So for example, yung certain programs like Quick Response Fund, nandito siya nakapaloob sa special provisions, no? Next slide. And then kung gusto mong himayin, no, nakalagay doon sa NEP and the GAA yung program level, and then you can go down to the sub-program level, and then minsan pa yung sub-program bina-breakdown siya by region, bina-breakdown din siya by for example activity or project, no? So for example, pinakita ko na kanina yung Basic Education Input Program, may several sub-programs under it, no? Halimbawa yung new school personnel, nandiyan yung textbooks, yung computerization, nandiyan yung school building program. One of the analysis that we do nga is to compare yung NEP versus the GAA, saan yung areas na nabawasan yung proposal ng DepEd or ng DBM versus kung ano yung pinasa ng Kongreso. So, ito na yung tinatawag na budget realignments, no? So, may realignments na positive. Halimbawa, DPWH, most of the time positive yan. Tinataasan nila yung budget for those projects. And then may cases na binabawasan nila. Kasi limited ang budget, naka-fix yung cap, yung ceiling ng total budget. Kung tataasan nila yung budget ng isang agency or ng isang project, babawasan nila yun sa iba, no? So, yun yung importance ng pag-observe ng mga realignments, no? Kailangan natin bantayan po talaga ito. Next slide. Also, something na overlook, no, bukod sa peso amounts, bukod sa line items, pag pinuntahan niyo po yung dulo ng NEP per agency, no, yung flow niya kasi ay yung budget, and then sa dulo nung section ng agency ay nandyan yung mga KPIs, yung mga organizational outcomes, performance indicators, baselines, and targets, no? So yung pinakita ni Yun kanina, syempre dapat clear sa atin kung ano yung paggagastusan, no? Ano ba yung pinaplanong outcomes ng government? Important din ito because sometimes yung heading ng line item, minsan hindi siya nagmamatch dun sa organizational outcome. Ano ba yung mga developmental outcomes that they're targeting, no? Doon natin nalalaman na out of the 160,000 na backlog ng classrooms, 797 over the past 3 years lang ang nare-report ng DepEd, no? So important din ito nating nasilipin. One, are they meeting their targets? Number 2, yung targets ba na sineset nila ay aligned sa gusto natin? So for example, kung yung transportation budget, puro roads lang, puro travel time sa kotse, no? Parang very road-centric siya. Yan, pwede natin i-critique din yung planning ng agency. So next slide. Accountability din, important yung SAOB, nasa DBM website din po iyan, no? So yung concepts lang ng allotment, no? So just to laymanize it, yung allotment is yung total amount ng new appropriations, including yung continuing appropriations o yung pera from the previous years. So yung allotment talaga yung pwedeng gastusin ng agency. Yung obligation na nga ay paggagastos na sila, they will contract it out, and then yung disbursement is yung actual release ng money. So therefore, may unobligated allotments ka, yung perang hindi nagastos, no? Next slide. So ito itsura niya, for example lang, magandang i-track, no? Ano ba may yung mga programs na mababa ang absorptive capacity, mababa ang use ng funds, no? So for example, yung school building, yung basic education facilities, 50% lang yung na-obligate, no? And then of the amount, no, 4 billion pa ang hindi pa nagagastos, no? So 50% lang yung obligate and then yung nagdi-disburse 50% lang din, no? So talagang hindi nasusulit yung pera dito. Important talaga ito. Next slide. Okay, so we were supposed to do like a live, parang ipapakita ko dapat yung screen ko, but I think napakita naman natin yung documents, no? If may mga questions kayo, maybe in the workshop, pwede natin ipakita yun. But basically, yung process na ito, yung pagtitingin ng PDFs, ng NEP, ng previous GAA, yun yung proseso na ginawa natin para i-compile yung datos na present natin kanina. And then, parang presenting it in a systematic way just allows you to do your headline analysis. But with the orgs, with the sectors, no, important na mag-identify talaga ng mga specific line items kung nagmamatch ba siya sa needs talaga ng community. Sige, so I think that ends this portion. We can wrap up here and proceed to the next part. Sige, go ahead. Jen.
Yes, Boeing Bowe. He is 5 minutes early. Everyone, give him a round of applause. We love an on-time
Buzzer
king. Let's
beater!
go! Ayan na po, maraming salamat. We will dive into the technicalities more during the worksheet review and costing. So I'd like to thank everyone who's tuning in with us via Facebook. We'll cut the feed here. But we'd have more briefings scheduled for the other sectors. So please stand by for announcements on that. Maraming salamat po. Yun, you can cut the feed. Thank you. Everyone wave to the viewers. Unmute yourself and say bye.
Bye!
Bye
Bye
po!
po.